I'd like to discuss something about sex. If you're a married couple and you want to swing or do a threesome or whatever you want to do, as long as you're not paying for it, as long as you're not doing it with underage people or your own children or your own stepchildren or whatever, there's no problem with it. I don't care what you do with your body, as long as you don't hurt other people while you're doing it. If you're in a swinging situation, and it's mutual. The other couple wants to be with you, and you want to be with the other couple. And there's nothing wrong with that. I say use protection. If you get a child out of it, then you get a child out of it. Not a need for an abortion. You get a child, and so that puts the discernment on you to make sure you don't get a child, and don't feel like it's haphazard. But I'm not going to tell you what to do. I told you, I'm not here to micromanage your life. I'm here to set up certain parameters, which I just did. No children. No paying for it. You don't have to introduce the mob into your life so you can swing. I don't care. And if you want guy, girl, guy, well, I don't even want to go through all the combinations. Whatever. I don't care. You want to film it? You want to put it on the internet? Whatever. I don't care. I do. So how can I say you don't? You can't do it, And I've had my 3 ways, I love sex. But I don't like hurting people, and that's why I don't have much sex, because a lot of the times when I want to have sex, I know I'm going to hurt this person, and I'll back away. I'll stop myself. Just like if you were going to turned on by a child, There's nothing wrong with being turned on by a child, only in the sense that we're all geared to focus on the young. Men are focused on the young because they want to have children. You don't, with a 6-year-old woman, you know you're not going to have children. So that's why the light is off of them as much, and the spotlight is on the young ones, because they can have children, But we're not animals. You're not an animal. I hope you're not. And, if you get turned on by a child, it's not at the end of the world. It's just when you start moving in the direction of sleeping with that child or raping that child, that's where it's like the old hammer story, The hammer itself is not evil. It's when you pound it into somebody's head that it's evil, and it's not the hammer that's evil. It's not your dick that's evil, it's your brain that makes you do that, or allows you to do that. And that's what makes you evil. So, a lot of that comes from your upbringing. Like a child molester usually rapes as a child and becomes a child molester himself, and stuff like that. So it's part of your breeding, it's part of your upbringing. But that doesn't give you an excuse to go do it. To go hurt an innocent child just because you're hurting. Go hurt an innocent child because you don't see it as a problem, because it was done to you. That's a problem. And the big problem for me is how to deal with you. A lot of people want me to kill you. Just wipe you off the planet. But the problem with any of those scenarios, with wiping people off the planet, even in the euthanasia type situation, like they've done with me. If there was euthanasia in this world for humans, they would have euthanasiaed me out a long time ago. They would have came up with some scenario for the paperwork to get it done, and it would have been done, and everybody would say, oh, they euthanasiaed him. They wouldn't even say that because they wouldn't even know I existed, But that's the problem with euthanasia, It's like the guy who brings the dog to the vet to get euthanasiaed, and it's only because he can't there's nothing wrong with the dog. He just can't handle the dog anymore, so he can't afford it or whatever, so he puts it down rather than put it up for adoption. And that's what they do to people, It's like, oh, he has a big inheritance, let's euthanasia him so we can get his inheritance, and we don't have to wait for him to die in natural causes. You know, and so that's the problem. You know, they would label somebody they don't like as a child molester, and they would euthanize him, like they done to me, like they done to me, and they would justify what they've done. You know, and that they wouldn't be euthanizing him because he's a child molester, but because he's got a big inheritance, or because of whatever. They would just open. It's just a hole in the dam that eventually does away with the dam and hurts everybody below the dam. And you know, it's very hard to cut that herd. And I'm not saying it can't be done, and it's probably done on a one-to-one basis. You know, certain people, there's no question they're a child molester, like an Epstein. You know, and Epstein should have had the same fate that he did have. You know, so I don't know. Just don't be so quick to judge people. You know, just because someone calls someone a child molester, and they might even look like one, and that's why they're saying that, because they know they'll get away with it. It doesn't mean they are. You know, so. And a lot of guys, you know, they're with a 18, 19-year-old girl, and they think it's legal. They think they're not doing anything wrong. And it is, and they aren't doing anything wrong. But then they find out she's 16 or 15, and they were set up. So, you know, they're not necessarily child molesters either. So that's the gray line, you know, and it's very hard, you know. And judges and lawyers and juries, they don't seem to see gray. They just see black and white, you know. Oh, she was 15 and that's it, you're done, you know. You know. They have that on tape, but they don't have the on tape part where she said she was 19 or something, you know. That's not on tape, so they don't have that. But see what I'm saying? Anyway, thank you. Bye.